How are you, Dominators? Hopefully you're fine. So here we are again for the next World War video, and I rewatched some of my older videos and thought about creating a chart whether to see which layouts I already presented, such as which age, which language, is it for multiplayer or for World War, and I recognize that in the previous videos I explained in very tiny detail each function of each building. So for now, if you have, I'm not seeing my touch of the screen, so let me adjust this first. So nice, hello, back again. Now you can see my touch or my touch points at the screen. Actually, I forgot about what I said last. I think it was something about not explaining in very tiny detail which building has which function. So if you are probably new to DomiNations, look up for some of my former videos where you can see and hear the description why mortars are more effective against a lot of weak troops, and cannon towers are better in dealing with little amount of enemies with high HP. So for my next videos and also for this one, I will not in detail explain how they are working. I will simply only explain why they are located like they are located, why walls are located in a specific manner. And so let's start in. The World War layout I can present to you currently is some kind of a mixed layout I created due to the fact that I did not had any how to say. Yeah, actually I don't know. I wanted to create a new World War layout which has none of the structure of layouts I created in former times. So let's jump right into. So actually here we are. Due to the progress of defense buildings as well as the walls, you are able to see that this World War layout, or the screenshot I took, is pretty much some time ago. So when I was to Global Age. Actually I took the screenshot when I approached first to the Atomic Age, and therefore you can see some buildings which have no function at all. So for example, the pieces of wall over here, which I simply located over there due to the fact that I got them new. In total I can... No, these are the walls I got when first approached to the Global Age, I think. I'm not pretty sure. Either way, anyway, this layout is for Global Age players, simply due to the fact that if you are in the Industrial Age, you don't have the capacities of walls to rebuild it. And therefore simply the amount of walls is restricting which ages can or should use this layout. In total, that layout is completely built as maze layout. We don't have any open spaces in this layout. Now some viewers or some of you may now claim, hey, domination ships, there are some closed departures, and I can really promise you they are not there. I will now explain to you why they are not. So this complete layout is open. These are the very interesting facts about the layout. Now, since the silo got in the game, rallying started to die out, to extinct. We don't have any need anymore for rallies in the most cases. So therefore this layout is some kind of old-fashioned. You can really try it out, and it worked pretty well. But I have also to admit, I think it worked really much better in previous times when players worked really much more with the rallying command, because probably you know, when you are rallying, your troops are moving to a specific building or in a specific position you already chose. Now, if there is a base which is not closed, so the walls are opened and not any chamber is completely surrounded by walls, which is also called maze layout, you are unable to rally inside without losing some of your troops, especially healing cards, which will take some kind of shortcut and go through the already open spaces, no matter whether these open spaces, these mazes, or these maze entrances within the walls will make their way longer. Now we have the first open section behind the Colosseum, and if you are now questioning yourself, Why do I not see it? It's exactly due to this, because I intended to create this layout and it should look like a closed layout where it is easy and safe to rally, but it is not. We have the second open department. You can see over here behind the stronghold. There are 2 gates located close together, and if you are locating 2 gates close together without any connecting piece between, it looks like there is no gap, but actually there is a gap. So if you are rallying within this layout and you have some healing cards with you, I can promise you those healing cards will get lost due to the fact that they either ways they will enter over here. Yeah, they will enter behind the Colosseum, and if the towers are not killing them, then we have mines over here or a cannon tower. Yeah, what about the other defense buildings? This layout got actually in first or in primary reason created by me to irritate enemies and to make it harder or to let it look easier than it actually is. We have a focus at the Acropolis, which is hitting all 3 of the tank depots, as well as 1 bunker. I think this bunker is out of the reach of the Acropolis. Then we have all mortars located inside. I have tried to spread them some kind of out to don't make them vulnerable to 1 decoy or sabotage tactics, whatever. Also the cannon towers are pretty close to them, trying to surround them in each direction due to the fact that decoy got the most dangerous threat to mortars since it got released. Also there are many air defenses within, because if the enemy is approaching to the base and will stay inside, defenders, especially if the enemy is staying within one of these multiple barbed wires, which are very, very important about this layout, then the troops are getting slowed down and weakened, and they are not that strong against my defenders, and the enemy will try to call in his planes or her planes to get my defenders done, and having some air defenses in will definitely not avoid this, but make it harder for the enemy to call them in more often, because they will simply die. Also, I tried to get my towers as close as possible to the center, so in the outer ring, in the first ring, because they are making the planes' life even harder for enemies. What is another crucial aspect, or obviously the traps. The traps are located so that most points where enemies were approaching, and I analyzed about 35 attacks, I'm not pretty sure, but around 35 attacks, and most enemies obviously attacked from the Acropolis side. And they should do this, because Acropolis is a high danger if you are attacking, as well as the silo, and if you're attacking from the northeast side, so from the side of the embassy, I think. Yeah, the embassy over here, and approaching then to the base, you are able to get the Acropolis as well as the silo. And therefore most enemies chose this way, and therefore I located my barbed wires in there, because rallying in will then slow the enemy significantly down, blah blah blah, as well as some other effects. I also tried to get as many as possible road locations or road connections to each building to get some more HP for the town center, but this is only of tertiary or quarter, so of third or fourth manner, and it's not that important. I have to admit, I located too many of the resource buildings to the left side. I think they are too easy attainable, and to get the enemy a lot of HP, or a lot of HP of your base, so probably you can locate them some way more in or closer to towers. I also located 1 tower at the left and 1 tower at the right side outside to get rid of planes. And the last pretty nice feature many of you should know is the hidden oil refinery over there, down here. You have to know, when I got the screenshot, there was not the actual version of the game. So now we have 1 more row and 1 more. Yeah, we have indeed we have more space to get to explore forests. So at the at the southwestern side and at the west-eastern side. So left top and left bottom we have one more site to explore and to get rid of forests, so more space. Now if you are locating your oil refinery even more to the left, it will be even more to the bottom position as it is in the screenshot, and to have that much space between the oil refinery and the actual other buildings is simply because to make it look like there is nothing else. So players are scouting your base within the Worldwar. Down here you have the sign with your name, with your coalitions, and so it really looks like, okay, over here is end, no worry to see anymore, and therefore let's get up. These little statues over here are not visible in the Worldwar. I simply located them somewhere. So in the Worldwar, when you are scouting a base, you are unable to see them. In total, this base, I have already mentioned it, let's sum it up. In total, this base I have created to irritate enemies, to let it look way more easy than it is actually, and to force enemies to attack most often from the right top side to get them within my barbed wires. I have to admit, against especially weak players and mid or moderate players, this layout was extremely successful, but against the strongest players I faced, it was not that successful because those players tended to not rally anymore. Nevertheless, I hope I got any points. The only thing I forgot about probably are the bunkers. They are also very to the inner side, and I located them very close to cannon towers, so to use betrayal is pretty senseless. The sniper towers I located some kind out and slightly to the center to have them at different locations throughout the complete base. In total, I hope this base layout was interesting for you. I would really appreciate receiving some more comments. And about the video, I try to do my videos more old-fashioned, like in the very beginning, so without huge cutting, effects and any other style. If I'm saying something wrong, saying something crappy, I will not cut it out, simply so that you have to laugh something. Let me or give me some kind of feedback also. Therefore, do you like a clean video with cuts and only with perfect explanation, summary, structure and everything, or do you like this more freestyle of referring about it or commenting about a topic we are dealing about? Have a good day, guys and girls, and I will keep you provided with my next Worldwar text again, I think.